Today we're looking at the Ford Fiesta ST. I've already had a chance to drive the Ford Focus ST, and I encourage you to go and watch that review. The nice thing is Ford is bringing their hot hatches here to North America. We've had other hot hatches in the past and they've been sold around the world, but not many came to North America, and finally we're getting the higher performance versions here. So this Fiesta ST, basically the way you see it is the way it comes. There's two options on the outside. One are the gray wheels with the red calipers and this sort of orange paint. It's only $400 upgrade for the paint and only $500 upgrade for the wheels. So those are two features I would probably spend the money on. The rest of the car pretty much comes the way you see it. This car is $25,000. The Focus ST is $30,000, but you get a lot of car for your money. A real fun looking subcompact, deeper chin spoiler at the front. You get the spoiler hanging out over the back of the window, a lower rear valance, the aggressive looking wheels and stance. It really looks like it's all the business. The thing is, there really isn't anything else in this class, in the subcompact class, if you want a small, fun to drive car. This is an ideal weather to drive a hot hatch. We've had all kinds of snow recently. We don't typically get snow. The good news is the temperature is a little bit warmer. It's up around 8-9 degrees Celsius, which is between 45 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. So good enough, that's all I can tell you. So I'm going to give you overall driving impressions for everyday use. This isn't a rally or a track sort of evaluation, just using it every day, which is what most people are going to use this car for if they're going into showroom to buy. So out we go into the snow. The difference between the Focus ST and the Fiesta ST, the Focus ST is a 2-liter EcoBoost turbocharged engine. This is a 1.6. The horsepower in the Focus is 252 horsepower. That's a lot of horsepower, and this was 197. But the torque is good at 202 foot-pounds. This is a much smaller car. It's very compact. The suspension is much stiffer in the ST. It's a little bit choppy, but it's not too jarring. Add that in to the very direct steering, the comfortable and snug seats, and you feel like you could put this car anywhere you want and it'll go there without any effort, absolutely no problem. This engine and the setup is just a perfect Fiesta. You want to pass somebody in town, you drop it a gear, you put your foot into it, bam, you're gone. You want to pass on the highway, no problem. The problem is with all of that torque and all of that horsepower with a turbocharged engine, you kind of get excited and you use it quite a bit, and that really affects fuel economy, especially in the city. I found on the opposite though, if you left this car in a top gear and 6th gear and you cruised along at the highway, the fuel economy, because it is only a 1.6 liter, can be fantastic. So this could be a choice for somebody that does a lot of highway driving. The only downside to that, as I mentioned, is the Recaro seats don't let you stretch your legs out if you're doing a long distance commute. Inside, there's a few things I like about it, a few things I don't, very similar to what I found with the Focus ST. So let's check it out. I can remember when the Fiesta first came out, I was really surprised by the level of materials and quality that they integrated into the dashboard especially. And that's true whether you get the base model or you get this top of range ST. It's covered in soft touch materials on the top of the dashboard, nice looking dials and switches. With the ST you get upgrades like the big fat steering wheel with redundant controls on the steering wheel. You get the nice looking shifter, but what's most prominent are the seats, the Recaros, deeply bolstered. But the same problem I have with the Focus ST I have with the Fiesta ST, and that's that your hips are lower than your knees, which gives you that really rally sport feel when you sit in the seats, but after a while, you want to be able to stretch those legs out, especially if you do a lot of long distance commuting or you're driving over a long period of time. So just keep that in mind. And these bolsters are really narrow, so big boys need not apply. These seats really are snug. I can't imagine a big guy fitting into this car. And when you add in the compact dimensions of this subcompact car, the tight seats, the closed quarters, it does feel rather small. Very small in the back seat. This really is a single person's car, a young guy that sees himself a bit of a boy racer. That's really who's going to be attracted to this vehicle. A couple of things on the plus side, heated seats are included. They're only a one-stage heated seat, which means you turn them off. The good news is your backside gets really hot within about 2 blocks. The bad news is it's so hot you have to turn it off. You got to cycle them on and off all by yourself. I wish it had a lower setting. You've got the automatic climate control. You've got the My Ford touch screen front and center in the top of the dash. That's included. 2 options you might want to splash out for is the navigation and the sunroof. 2 things I wouldn't get. First of all, I'm not a big fan of sunroofs. Navigation, I've got my phone, and that's included in my phone, and it's absolutely free. The thing about the My Ford Touch in this car is the screen is far away from the driver, and the buttons and the way the display comes up is really quite small. So you have to reach forward and you have to touch the screen, and the little indicators that you touch are really on the small side. So that is a bit of a drawback. But other than that, you get a wonderful looking interior, hugely supportive seats, a lot of technology for $25,000. So this Fiesta ST is just a better Fiesta, which is already one of my favorite cars in the subcompact class. I prefer it to the Focus in every way, in all models. It just feels so solid, it's tight, it's compact, you can put it anywhere, and the turbocharged EcoBoost engine along with the wonderful transmission and suspension just make this a much better Fiesta. It isn't cheap, but you do get a lot of features. I wouldn't get the navigation, I wouldn't get the sunroof. I'd basically get it the way you see it here with the upgraded wheels and maybe a different color scheme. It's going to cost about $1,000 more than the $25,000 starting price. A lot of car for the money, but for many people it's still going to be a little expensive.